We'll be starting in 1 minute.
Welcome, Sergeant Miles. Welcome, Dr. Lopez. Welcome, Ms. Cruz.
Good evening.
Mr. Stahoviak, thank you for joining us.
Happy to be here.
Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order at 5 after. Thank you all for joining us. To do a quick roll call, Dr. Lopez, do you want to do the roll call? Will that be easier for you to take notes on it?
Yes, give me 1 second. I'm opening up the file now so that I can go in order.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Fatima Flamenco. Miss Jessica Kearns.
Yeah.
Ruth Cruz.
Present.
Israel Flores.
Present.
Nestor Garces. Myself, Dr. Lopez, present. Alexis Cordova. Rodrigo Gonzalez. Victor Flamenco. And none of our student representatives present today.
I saw that Rodrigo came in briefly and then I don't know if he got disconnected.
Okay. And Principal Escamilla.
Present. Yeah, I noticed that he was on as well, and he's no longer on there.
If anyone could just draw to my attention, should he come back on so that I could mark him present?
Thank you.
Yeah, and I did confirm that Victor and his mom were going to join earlier. The only one I couldn't get any confirmation from was Alexis.
So we currently do not have quorum. So if 2 more people join, then we will. But if not, then we'll just have this as an information only meeting and no voting will take place. So we cannot vote to approve the minutes, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, so since that's the case, we'll have to skip for the moment approval of the minutes. So if we do end up with quorum, we can come back to that.
Mm-hmm. And Dr. Lopez, I don't know if you're on your phone or your computer, or if you, in the future, if we do begin to review the agenda and the minutes, if you would like to display those, or if you need me to display those, because I couldn't find the minutes from our last meeting on the website, but I did have access to the agenda.
Do you mind putting the agenda up just so that everybody can
So
see
would you like me to present today's agenda and share it, or the minutes from last meeting?
If you don't mind, I don't know how much time did you want to wait, give some more people time to join, or did you just want to go start this as an info meeting?
Yeah, I think we should just start as an informational meeting and we can always come back to that.
Okay.
I mean, at this point, it's almost 10 after.
Okay.
So that way we can get back, especially because we have guests. I'd like to know.
So if you can display it, Dr. Lopez.
And again, am I displaying the agenda for today or the minutes from our
Correct.
last meeting?
No, the agenda.
Okay, give me 1 moment.
Thank you.
And if you're displaying it from your phone and it's easier for me to just display it, I can just display it because your screen just shrank.
Yes, I'm trying to project the minutes now. Please let me know if you do see them. Give me one moment.
We are currently streaming, correct?
We are streaming, and then I see Alexis
Oh,
just
Alexis, okay.
joined.
Okay.
And
Are you able to see the agenda?
yes, but it's a very small screen, so maybe I will. Oh, and
Okay.
Victor's just joined us. ¿Tu mamá te
Okay.
vino a dejar o se va a conectar por computadora?
Yo lo voy a comentar si se va a conectar.
Okay. So I'm just going to share it, Dr. Lopez.
And actually, now we have 8.
So am I correct that we have Victor and Alexis here now, so I can mark them as present?
Correct. And then, do you mind translating?
Sure.
Okay.
And I'm also asking Nestor to help translate as well. This is the only part that I don't know if people are trying to connect because I don't know. Okay. So the agenda is on the screen. If we can please review the agenda, and do we officially have quorum?
We do now.
Okay.
¿Eso es por qué?
Es la agenda.
Sí.
And just to remind everybody again, our agenda is also found on our website under the Parents tab. Then you go down to Local School Council and click on Agenda for today's meeting.
Thank you. And do we have a second?
I second. Actually, can I take that back? I don't second that. Dr. Lopez, and we can make the change right now before moving forward, but remember I had asked that under new business that we can include Sophie Galau for the SAT presentation, or is this not the agenda that you were working on?
I'm looking at her under new business item number 5, under January LSC meeting date. She is on here.
No, not for January, but for this meeting.
No, there was a new agenda item listed as January LSE meeting date, and then underneath that is Sophie Kalau, the importance of the PSAT and SAT. So I'm not sure if you're looking at the correct agenda.
Go down to item number 5.
Yeah, it's not here. So this is not the correct agenda. This is the agenda that was added originally to our website. That's why Dr. Lopez then.
I'll send it to you right now so that it's at the top of your email.
So I'm going to stop sharing so I can present the actual agenda. Thank you, Dr. Lopez. So I think we're just going to have to update this particular agenda onto our website.
Okay.
So Mr. Garces, do you want to move so then I can now second this one?
Both the sides. The one I showed you is correct. Like it's this one. Because I pulled it straight from my email.
Okay. I second the motion.
And for votes, let's go ahead and go through another roll call instead of everybody answering at the same time. Dr. Lopez, do you want to do that again? Or is it easier for
Sure.
them?
That's fine.
Thank you.
Fatima is not here. Miss Kearns.
Fatima did join.
Oh, Fatima.
Ay, sí, es que no,
Okay.
tengo problemas con la conexión, perdón. Ay. Ujú.
Miss Kearns.
Oh,
Miss Cruz.
sorry. Did you say Coons or Cruz?
She said,
Aye.
yeah, and then Cruz.
Mr. Flores.
Aye.
Mr. Garces. Myself, I. Alexis.
Aye.
Rodrigo. He is still not on the call, correct? Victor.
Victor.
Yeah. Aye.
I see where
And
they're logged in.
okay, Rodrigo.
He said he was busy, so I wonder if he stepped away.
Okay, Mr. Escamilla.
Aye.
So we did not get a vote from Rodrigo.
But we do have,
Everyone else is unanimous.
yeah, and we still have enough votes.
I'm sorry?
I said we still have enough votes for it to count as passing.
Okay, great.
And so next is the minutes from last month.
Okay. Dr. Lopez, would you be able to send me the minutes so I can display these, the minutes from our last meeting?
One moment.
Oh, and Rodrigo he voted in the chat.
Thank you. You should have them now.
Thank you. Do you mind scrolling back up to the top one? So the heading needs to get changed because it still says agenda. It just needs to get updated to reflect that it's the minutes.
I will make that revision though.
Thank you. Does anybody else see any changes that need to be made? Or do we have a motion to approve with that change?
Already done.
Do we have a second?
I second the motion.
Thank you. And then in a moment, Dr. Lopez can do the roll call for the vote.
Yes. So the revisions have been made to reflect minutes instead of agenda. Everyone in favor, Ms. Flamenco?
Aye.
Ms. Kearns?
Aye.
Ms. Cruz?
Aye.
Mr. Flores?
Flores, aye.
Mr. Garces? Lopez, aye. Annexes?
Annex is voted in the chat.
Okay. Rodrigo?
So did Rodrigo.
Victor?
Victor, aye.
Mr. Escamilla?
Aye.
The motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. So Emily is not on, correct?
Correct. She's not able to make it.
Okay. So we can go ahead and skip past the public participation because Emily is not here. And we did not receive any
Correct.
requests. For,
So in our old business, there was a request to give an update on our current fundraisers. So in our homecoming dance ticket sales, we had earned $1,288 after having that homecoming dance. In our last haunted house fundraiser, we raised $96 during that time. And then right now, the hat fundraiser that Mr. Quisio presented on at the last local school council is yet to be determined. He has not provided me with a update on that particular fundraising event.
are those amounts before or after expenses?
After expenses.
Okay, thank you.
So en el último evento donde estuvimos tratando de ganar fondos para la escuela en el baile de homecoming, pudimos vender $288 en boletos para el baile. Y luego en el evento de Halloween, donde abrimos las puertas para la comunidad, eran $96 después de gastos. Y todavía no tenemos información sobre lo que platicó el maestro Juicio en tratando de vender gorros de la escuela para anunciar una promoción sobre la buena salud. Todavía no tenemos esos números. Todavía no me ha dado su reporte el señor Juicio.
Does anybody have any questions? Let's turn in the paperwork.
And I was wondering if we can go to her because she needs to leave.
Is she here? Oh, okay. I thought you meant like possibly. Yes, that's what's next. So moving on to new business, we do have a candidate for the non-teacher representative position, Vanessa Alice, who's a member of the counseling team. Ms. Alice, do you mind just telling us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me. My name is Vanessa Alas. Sorry, that's my dog. I am new to Foreman. This is my first year as a school counselor, but I have been working with high schoolers for 9 years. And I am bilingual. Yeah. Mi nombre es Vanessa Alas. Es mi primer año en Foreman.
I'm going to toggle over to her.
He trabajado con niños de la secundaria por 9 años. Soy bilingüe y estoy apreciada de estar aquí.
Thank you for your interest, Ms. Salas. Ms. Chairperson, can I have the floor just to give some context?
Absolutely.
So we opened up the opportunity for non-teacher staff to fill this seat on the local school council, and Ms. Alice graciously applied. But there is one last step that we need to take. Because she's gone uncontested, meaning there's no one else that's interested in running for this position, we'll be running a voting process in our main office beginning tomorrow. And all she would need is one vote to move forward. And the LSC centrally already is aware of her application, but we just need to take this one last step, and we are moving forward with Ms. Alice serving as a non-teacher rep. Nos queda un paso para darle este asiento a la señora Alas. Vamos a necesitar un voto y nada más necesita un voto para este asiento en el concilio escolar de la escuela que se va a hacer para mañana. Muchísimas gracias a todos. Thank you for your interest, Ms. Alice.
Does anybody have any questions for her?
Ms. Alice, maybe if you can share a little bit about what interested you in serving in this seat in the local school council and what you look forward to.
I would say probably the main thing that interests me was to be able to build more relationships with the parents. Creo que lo que me interesó más es poder crear relaciones con los papás de la escuela.
Thank you.
Do we have a motion to move forward with the vote?
So we would need the
That needs to be
vote.
done first.
Yep. the vote.
Okay. So we will have to table the vote until after the staff vote.
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you, Ms. Ellis, for joining us. And
Thank
then
you, buddy.
we'll follow up next month.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
So I have information about the next agenda item.
Go ahead.
So we were trying to secure a teacher who has been supporting our students in the participatory budget process that we have here for the $300,000 that we're trying to get. And we're trying to empower our students to lead and organize this voting procedure on how to spend the $300,000. But the teacher, unfortunately, suffered a death in the family and it has taken a leave. Estamos tratando de agarrar un maestro que está trabajando con nuestros estudiantes sobre los fondos que nos dio el gobierno de $300,000 para gastar aquí en la escuela, en los beneficios de la escuela. Pero ahorita el maestro está ausente porque sufrió con una pérdida de un familiar de su un familiar. So ahorita no se está presentando en la escuela, pero en el futuro vamos a ojalá tener un reporte de este maestro. Es que estamos escuchando de los estudiantes, pero también queremos el lado de los maestros que están ayudando a los estudiantes. So in the near future, I hope to bring the teacher side of their support, because we've been hearing from our students, which is their primary focus, but I want our teachers to give us an update on their work with our students, and that is going to be to come. And if we have to present that through maybe a video method and share it out on our website, we'll do that.
A little bit I can add to that.
Okay.
Just an update, you probably know, but that the team did receive some estimates. So they have their list of, the most common suggestions that they received. And so they reached out to the district to get some estimates on what each of those would cost. And they're awaiting some clarification on, if those are pretty firm estimates or if there's any room for negotiations and that sort of thing. Trying to figure out, are these no bid contracts, et cetera. So I think when we reconvene, they will have a response from the district at that point.
Como la señora Kearns habló con uno de nuestros maestros, ella sabe un poco más de el proceso. Los estudiantes ya han recibido los diferentes costos de los trabajos que están pensando los estudiantes para poner a un voto. Y ahorita unas preguntas que se están esperando es que si tenemos que ir con los que nos están dando estos estimados o si nosotros como una escuela podemos buscar a diferentes personas, agarrar estimados para estos tipos de trabajos. Y ahorita esa es una respuesta que estamos esperando del distrito que nos den.
Anything anybody would like to add? Or any questions before we move on? So for the January meeting, we usually meet on the second Tuesday of the month. For January, that would be on the 10th, but school does not resume from winter break until the 9th. So we need to decide if we want to proceed with the 10th or if we would rather wait a week. And that way we're meeting once everybody is a little bit more like back in the usual routine.
So es como regresamos enero 9, queremos saber si es más conveniente tener nuestra junta del concilio escolar el 10, inmediatamente un día después de regresar, o si queremos tener la junta el 17. Pero vamos a necesitar a alguien que vote en esto si queremos reunirnos una semana después.
Before we proceed with an official vote, if nobody minds, not to be dismissive of how the break impacts parents and staff, but I would love to hear the students weigh in. Because I think the adjustment is a little bit tougher sometimes.
Antes de escuchar a todos los del concilio, la señora Kearns quiere saber si nos pueden dar las opiniones los estudiantes y lo que están pensando ellos, como también les afecta este tiempo que están afuera de la escuela, también ellos tienen que pensar en todo esto. So, quiere las opiniones de los estudiantes ahorita.
Sí, Alexis.
Sí, voy a dar mi opinión en español y después voy a intentar traducirla. Me gustaría mejor tener la primera reunión y después, tipo, lo siento por el sonido, en el 16 porque normalmente las primeras semanas de clase tenemos bastante tarea y no tenemos suficiente tiempo como para estar en otras cosas. No sé si me entienden los que hablan español.
Sí, ¿vas a intentar o quieres que te traduzca? Y va a ser el 10.
Me gustaría que me ayudara porque no sé cómo traducir eso.
Sí,
Sí.
Y el 17 va a ser el día que tú estás dando tu opinión y tú estás diciendo que porque te dejan mucho trabajo esas primeras semanas que regresan, ¿verdad? ¿Te entendí bien?
Sí, exactamente.
Okay, so she's saying that she would,
Sí, sí.
her opinion, her vote would be for the 17th because typically that initial week is getting back in the mix of things, and usually they are given a lot of work that first week to get back into the swing of school. That she would prefer that to be like some time to get adjusted again to school, and then have our meeting on the 17th.
Victor and Rodrigo, what do you guys think?
No sé la verdad.
¿Prefieres reunirte a esta junta el 10 de enero o el 17 de enero? ¿Qué piensas?
¿En qué fecha entramos?
El 9. Regresamos el 9.
Y tener al 10.
Y luego tener esta junta el 10. Podemos tener esta junta el 10 un día después de regresar, o si prefieres tener esta junta el 17 de enero.
Para mí cualquiera de las dos está bien, la verdad.
Okay. So he's saying that for him, either date works for him. Rodrigo?
Yeah, he's just been communicating in the chat. Okay. Rodrigo, you're okay. Okay. Does anybody else want to add anything to this discussion before we go ahead and vote? Okay. Okay, thank you. I did not realize that. Oh, yeah, that's simultaneous.
Hi, good evening, everyone. This is Sergeant Miles. I have a fundraiser that I'd like to mention if it's okay to jump in at this time, or just let me know when I can jump in.
Can we come back to that momentarily?
Sure. We're going to come back to that, Sergeant Miles, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Okay, that way we can just get this sorted out. So do we want to just vote for our preference, or does somebody want to make a motion for one specific day?
yeah, we would make a motion to one specific day, and then it would be a yea or nay.
Okay.
And then if we can, because then it would be the latter of that
Yeah.
vote.
I'm just saying for people like me, like I can do it either day. So like my vote is a yes regardless of which day. Is anybody unable to make it one of those dates? Do you mind translating that? Because I want to make sure we have quorum.
Queremos votar sobre qué fecha es mejor para nosotros, para reunirnos como un concilio, pero si no hay, si hay una preferencia, queremos un voto de alguien, pero también la señora Kiernes quiere pensar que todos piensan en si hay una fecha que no puedan participar.
That way, in case people are traveling and won't be
En
back
caso si
for-
están yéndose a un viaje o en vacaciones. So I'm just gonna, I'll move to get a vote in favor of January 17th, which is again Tuesday the 17th, the following week. And that is a motion I have on the floor. People can now vote yea or nay. Ahorita,
I motion to have
I
the
second.
meeting on Tuesday, the 17th.
Dr. Lopez, you want to do a roll call for the vote?
Yes. Fátima. Si usted quiere votar para mover la junta para el 16,
No, está bien.
17.
17, perdón.
Sí, está bien. A mí los 2 días está bien por mí.
Ms. Kearns,
Aye.
Ms. Cruz,
She seconded it, so she wouldn't have to.
okay. Mr. Flores,
Aye.
Mr. Garces, Lopez, aye. Alexis,
Aye.
Rodrigo, Victor,
Victor, aye.
Mr. Escamilla,
Yes, I
Did Rod-
did the original motion, so yes, aye.
did Rodrigo drop his vote in the chat? I did not see.
Yes, he did.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so do we have quorum?
Yes.
We had one abstain. Okay. The meeting has been moved to the 17th.
I just missed it when I scrolled. Okay, ignore my text.
Okay.
Okay, great. So moving on, we ready for Sophie?
Okay. Oops.
Yeah, I just didn't scroll far enough.
Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen because we have a guest presenting here today, bringing us information around the importance of SAT and understanding what SAT and PSAT are. And Sophie Glau is our guest for today, coming from Network 14. She works with the multi-tiered system of support team, but also is helping us here at Foreman come up with an initiative around SAT and PSAT. And I'll let her share her screen.
Thank you. I'm hoping that everyone can see the screen. Yes? Okay. So I will be talking about how we're going to prepare students for the SAT 2023 here at Foreman College and Career Academy. Again, my name is Sophie Galau. I work for the network, Network 14, and I'm here to share some info. Are we going to translate and be?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. So what is the SAT? So the SAT is an entrance exam that's used by most colleges and universities to make admission decisions. It's also a graduation requirement for CPS. It's a multiple choice pencil and paper, so far, pencil and paper test created and administered by the College Board. Mr. Garces? Okay, so yeah, it is measured, it is used to measure a student's readiness for college. Wo- So when should I take the SAT? When students think about this question, right, they think of usually their junior year. So it is recommended that students take the SAT the spring of their junior year or fall of their senior year. In case they have to take the test again to improve their points, it's good to leave in a nice amount of time in between a first testing and a second. See. When do they take the SAT? So the SAT is offered nationally every year in August, October, November, December, March, May, and June. Students, juniors here at Foreman will be taking their SAT May 6th, 2023, and I will talk about that shortly. What are the main components of the SAT? So you have a reading test, you have a writing and language test, and you have a math test. The reading test is 65 minutes, the writing and language test is 35 minutes, and the math test there are two sections. There's one with no calculator for 25 minutes, and then you have one with calculator for 55 minutes. So the SAT is 180 minutes, not including breaks, so which is about 3 hours. Guys, okay. SAT scoring. So the SAT is scored between 400 and 1600. So in 2019, the average SAT score was 1050. Any score above 1050 would be above average and acceptable for many colleges. A score of 1350 would put students at the top 10% of test takers and help them make their application more competitive at selective schools. So we're going to talk about using Khan Academy for SAT practice. That is something that we are going to use here at Foreman High School to prepare students for the SAT, which they will be taking in May. It is a free program that all students have access to. And data has shown that even just 20 hours working on Khan Academy SAT practice for 20 hours has proven to increase the score of up to 115 points on the SAT. This research was conducted by the College Board, and there's a link to the full description of the research. So if students spend 20 hours practicing on Khan Academy for 20 hours, the data has shown that they were able to increase at least 115 points extra. Mhm. And there's a link. If we share this document, there is a link to explain further how this research was done. Yes. How do,
You for 1 second.
1 second.
I will put the link to this presentation on our website and send it out to families.
So how do students get started? Okay, we're talking about Khan Academy. So every junior will be able to link their College Board account and Khan Academy together. And they will get personalized recommendations based off their PSAT scores. So, mhm. I heard. Thank you. I was just about to do that. So again, the PSAT is taken usually in the fall of the junior year, if not earlier. And it is similar to the SAT. It's kind of the pre-test of the SAT. But if students did not take the PSAT, they can take a diagnostic assessment, right? A test within Khan Academy. And then after they take that diagnostic assessment, they'll get personalized recommendations. So if they did not take it, they'll take a diagnostic assessment. And Khan Academy will recommend practice based on their results. For example, if there are questions that they did not get correct, they'll get more practice on those questions, right? But if the ones they did get correct, they'll probably get less practice on. So it's targeting areas and skills that they have not mastered yet. So what are the SAT skills? Skills are specific areas that students can practice. For example, Solving linear equations and linear inequalities is one of the skills in the math section. And reading science or writing argument are skills in the reading and writing section. There are 41 skills on the SAT math and 28 skills in reading and writing. There is a link to all the skills and the skill levels at the bottom of this screen. The more skills the students practice, the better they become, and the high chance that they have to increase their scores on the overall SAT. So this is the practice schedule that we are going to roll out here at Foreman High School to give students access, to give them the time to practice for the SAT. Overall, the students will schedule the days they want to practice throughout the week. They'll also create practice schedule based on when they're taking the SAT. And they can also schedule time to take full-length exams provided by College Board. Oh. So there are 20 weeks until test day. As of this week, there's 20 weeks left until they take the test on May 6th. So the recommended goal here is 2 to 4 hours per week, right? Practicing in Khan Academy, which is basically 30 minutes a day for 5 days a week. This could be done at home. This could be done if we're able to schedule within some classes. It could be done after school. So that's 30 minutes a day for 5 days a week, which ends up being a total of 50 hours total practice that they will have before May 6th. So this is a recommended practice schedule that we're going to encourage the juniors to do. Mhm. Thank Yes. There is a video here that I have put on, but I basically explained everything. So this is your option to play this video after the presentation, but it basically shows you what students are going to do when they enter the dashboard and how they will select their skills and their schedule. So this is for your own references that you can look at a later time, but it's linked there. It is only in English. Yeah. Gracias.
Welcome to Official FCT Practice. I'm Kit Hirosaki, the lead.
Okay. So as we end this presentation, what we need from Foreman parents and guardians, right? What we need from them is a commitment. So we can support them at school, but we need our parents and guardians to support them at home when it comes to this SAT prep. Again, the actual program is free. It's accessible. Students have Chromebooks. And we're asking parents to, one, commit to providing time for students to work at home. Two, progress monitor via College Board. Parents are able to get on to the platform and see what their child is doing and how much they've increased in their scores and their progress. And lastly, we want you to reach out to school staff in case you need more support or if you have questions. Now, yeah. So overall, why is this important? Why are we stressing this? Why are we sharing this with the community? One, if students have opportunities to practice for this exam and do well, they have better chances of entering selective colleges if they're interested in going to college. They also have a higher chance of probably receiving scholarships. The higher the score, the more scholarships they might qualify for. So this is to plan for their future. You just 30 minutes a day for 5 days a week, the next 20 weeks can make a big difference for those students that are interested in pursuing higher education. Thank you. Gracias. And we will share out more information in the future.
Are you unmuted?
Yes.
Okay. Question that you can probably answer. Oh, okay. For students who have a 504 or an IEP, and this is for either Mr. Escamilla or you, I know that sometimes accommodations include extra time for testing. How does that impact the SAT and the PSAT? And if they have accommodations, like, do they need to be written into the 504 or the IEP specifically to address those tests?
So, la pregunta es para los padres que tienen estudiantes en el programa de la educación especial y tienen ciertas acomodaciones como necesitando más tiempo para cumplir con trabajos o exámenes. ¿Cómo se pone eso para que los estudiantes toman ventaja de ese tiempo y que también les den lo que necesitan los estudiantes con ese documento legal que se le da tiempo de más a los estudiantes en la educación especial? Y todos nosotros, los estudiantes que están aquí en Foreman, que son partes de la educación especial, se mete esa información con el College Board, que es la agencia que es encargada de dando este examen, y ellos ya saben cuáles son los estudiantes que van a necesitar este tiempo adicional. Y luego nosotros en la escuela empezamos a organizar esos salones aquí para saber cuáles son los estudiantes que van a necesitar ese tiempo adicional por su plan de educación. So what typically happens is that students that have IEPs or 504s are already have these plans in place at the school level, but it's people at the school level that then organize and communicate this information to the College Board so that they know how many students are going to need these particular accommodations. Once the College Board then approves the accommodations based on the student's IEP, we can then begin to organize classroom settings or a testing environment that is appropriate for these students so that they are provided these additional times or the special accommodations that are listed in their IEPs. And this is something we do with the help of our testing coordinator, like Mr. Wilson, who's here at Foreman, and also with the support of Ms. Galau from the network.
Did you already say that part in Spanish?
Sí, esta ayuda nos da el señor Wilson, que nos ayuda con los exámenes aquí en la escuela, o también la señora Sophie Galau, que nos está ayudando del distrito.
So then for parents who have kids who have an IEP or a 504, if testing accommodations specifically are not in those, like if the concern was more about day-to-day classroom or homework, should they be reaching out to I'm just spacing from just the 504s now because there's been a couple changes over the years. But should they be reaching out to have those plans updated before the testing date?
So está preguntando que si padres que tienen estudiantes en la educación especial, si deben de estar comunicándose con la escuela para hacer esos cambios adelantados para que puedan tener los estudiantes estas acomodaciones en el día del examen. So typically they can reach out and we can see how we can accommodate, but typically the IEP meetings are planned in advance. And so those conversations should be happening during those IEP meetings, and those requests should be taken into account when the teams get together to revise or edit the student's IEP or 504. So, típicamente, estas juntas ya están en un horario con el equipo de aquí de la Escuela de la Educación Especial, donde esas conversaciones ya tienen que tienen que tomar en cuenta para asegurarnos que esos detalles están en el plan del estudiante.
And if the test only administered in English?
Si el examen es nada más en inglés y la respuesta es sí, yes.
Does anybody else have questions about the SAT and PSAT or the prep or anything else on topic? Okay, then we can move on to
Yep. Sergeant Miles, you have the floor pertaining to the fundraiser information that you wanted to provide us.
Yes, sir. Good evening. Good evening to everyone. My name is Sergeant First Class Miles. I'm with the FCCA JROTC department, and we're trying to do a fundraiser for the department in order to raise some funds for our annual educational trips that we normally take and our annual JROTC ball that will be coming up next year in the springtime. I'm going to try to share the document, the fundraiser request here. Tab. If I can get this to, excuse me. Oh, that's not it. Here we are. This is the actual fundraising proposal that we're trying to do. The goal is to try to do raise $6,000. Each card that is going to be given to the department or to the school will cost about $15. Each student will have the opportunity to ask for or get however many cards that they would like to. So once someone purchases the card, they are in return, they can go to Domino's. It can also be used with a call-in method for the delivery for the Domino's card that will be given to or sold out to individuals. The way the students will do this is they will get the card. They're not obligated at no means. It's by choice. But once they receive the cards, they will be obligated to, at that point, to either sell or get rid of however many cards they can. And then whatever cards that they don't, they'll return those and they will be returned. The company which is sponsoring the fundraiser. The fundraiser goal, like I said, is about $6,000, which 100% of it, depending on what we do, is actually given to the school with a small fee that will probably be done at the end of the fundraiser.
El recaudador de fondos es para ayudar el programa del militar de aquí de la escuela de JRTC y la meta es de una ganancia de $6,000 en vendiendo boletos que se pueden usar para comprar pizza. So you said Domino's, or it could be, it doesn't have to be pizza, it could be anything that they sell at Domino's, correct?
It's a pizza card, but however, that $15 can be used to purchase anything.
Sí, típicamente se vende pizza en este restaurante, pero se puede usar estos $15, que es una tarjeta que se vende que puedes usar $15 en el restaurante Domino's y la meta de la ganancia en este recaudador de fondos es $6,000. And so how is this going to ultimately, if you can share, Sergeant Miles, how this would be used to benefit the school or the JRTC program? And then if you can explain this fee at the end that the original funder would take back at the end after raising these funds?
Okay. The first part will benefit both the school as well as the students in JRTC. It will benefit the school by means of providing funds for us to use for transportation usage. When we have to do JRTC function or events outside of using the actual school funds that we may have to ask the school for. And besides that, it will be funds to help fray some of the costs that will cost to support our JRTC annual military ball that will be coming up. Some of the cost after or at the end of the fundraiser may be due to some processing. Trying to read this middle section here where it says anticipated expenses from total activity. That may be something that the company will charge if we ask for something like T-shirts or we ask for something outside of the actual fundraising. There will also be I think according to Ms. Lindsay, there will be a small surcharge at the end for the number of cards that will be printed.
Do we have an estimate of that cost?
And so where you see the $6,000 where it says anticipated, let me see if I can enlarge this. It's enlarging on my end. I don't know whether it's enlarging on you all's end or not. Where it says the anticipated revenue from the total sales, that is our goal, the $6,000. And then that anticipated expenses from the total activity, that is the cost that may be associated at the end for due processes or the making of the cards. And then the anticipated profit or revenue is what we would receive at the end, $5,500.
So I'm just confused because it says that there is zero anticipated expenses, but you're saying that there are expenses. Do we have an estimate for that? Thank you for saying.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
I said on your form, it says, it says zero for the anticipated expenses, but you're saying that there are anticipated expenses. Do we have an estimate on that so that we can correct the form? Is that $500? Because I see the difference between them.
Yes. It shows the 500 deducted from the 6,000, but that would actually be that $500 that would show in the anticipated cost or expenses.
Okay. When you assuming that we approve this, when you submit the form for me to sign off on, can we get that corrected so that the anticipated expenses are reflected in there?
Yes, I sure will. And again, this is the company. I do believe I'm still sharing my screen.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Where it says Ms. Lindsay Brenham, she is the sponsoring person for this. It's Platinum Fundraising. But the company is slicethepricecard.com. That is the website where the information can be found. And so once this document is approved, I can make sure all the necessary figures will reflect what will actually take place.
So lo que está explicando Sergeant Miles es que estos fondos ayudarán al programa militar aquí del JRTC de la escuela a pagar por transportación, a pagar por eventos que van a participar los estudiantes y también ayudar en en el baile anual del programa militar. Y él está trabajando con una agencia que se llama, did you say sliceforprice.com?
Let me show that again. Yes, slicethepricecard.com.
Una agencia Slice the Price. What's it?
.com. Slicethepricecard.com.
Card.com. Ok. Que básicamente indica que está recibiendo una ayuda a alguien que compra esta tarjeta sobre este recaudo de fondos. Y también dice que le estaba haciendo la pregunta a la señora Kearns sobre lo que nos va a costar al fin, después de agarrar estos fondos para la ayuda de la escuela, cuánto es lo que nos van a cobrar esta compañía. Y él está explicando que va a ser $500, pero va a corregir este documento antes que nosotros y la señora Kearns lo firme. Y eso es lo que acabo de explicar. Y si hay preguntas, pueden preguntar ahora.
So on the website, it says that 50% would be the profit. Do we have a different plan than the standard, or are there just typos on that form?
Where it says school's percentage of profit, it
Yeah.
says 100%.
The website says that it's 50% profit.
You say it shows a 50% profit?
Yeah.
Okay, I can rectify that with Miss Lindsay.
Thank
But according to the information that she passed off to me, with the exception of those anticipated costs, it's actually, as I heard it or responded to her, supposed to be 100%. And those anticipated expenses or fees are supposed to be the only charges that may occur or would occur at the end. But I can rectify that and make sure that if that's so, that the document will reflect that.
Thank you.
And the one last thing is the anticipated start date was January the 12th through 26th of January. But listening earlier, I do believe it was suggested that look forward to the following week, which is the 17th, which will give time for after coming back after the break.
Mr. Garces, what were you saying? So this was
That's for clarity.
So this, to clarify, this was added to the agenda during the course of the meeting as opposed to the one that was sent out previously, Dr. Lopez?
I did not add this, so I have no idea.
Okay, so I see it on there, but I don't know if that was on the original or if that.
I may be, if I may speak, this was actually something that was forwarded out to Ms. Gonzalez. I don't know if she's on the line, but because I wasn't able to make it to, I do believe, the last two LSC meetings, it wasn't brought up. It wasn't part of the agenda.
Okay, so we are not, based on the Open Meetings Act and that sort of thing, we are not allowed to vote on fundraisers that were not on the agenda in advance. So Mr. Garces, thank you for bringing that up, because I had not realized, I know we looked at it, but my own mistake, I did not recall that. Sergeant Miles, is it possible then to delay the fundraiser so that we can officially approve this at our next meeting with it on, or vote on it and put it on the agenda so that because we need to be consistent? Or is this like, if we don't approve it now, like you have to cancel that plan?
Not a problem, and that'll give me a time to go back and make sure I get all of that information corrected or verified.
Terrific. So we'll plan to have you on the agenda at the next meeting, and then we'll be able to hold a vote, assuming that we have the proper motions.
Okay, gracias. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me stick that right there.
Okay. So onto committee reports. We can start with the PAC. Mr. Stobiak, are you there?
Thank you.
Is Miss Tracy? Miss Tracy is not on for the back, right?
Invited.
Let me just text. Okay. I'm just texting to it right now.
Yes, I'm on, by the way. I just didn't hear that you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So you're ready for PAC?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, I just want to report that during our December 2nd meeting, Northeastern Illinois University afterwards provided 2 sessions, one in English and Spanish on FAFSA and the alternative application for parents. And then also coming up on January 13th, Northeastern Illinois University is going to provide 2 more sessions as well at 6 p.m. on January 13th that we're going to promote. And those 2 sessions revolve around how to file taxes and also where to file for free. So this is to help support parents. And then that's a connection back to FAFSA from the last month. So we're trying to provide multiple opportunities for parents to get involved with the school, with each other. So the National Museum of Mexican Art is working with us, and they're offering classes every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 a.m. And they're art classes, and parents are able to, and I'll just show you this, parents.
I can stop sharing my screen. Give me a second.
Sure. Oh, I don't need to share the whole screen, but parents are able to pick up these boxes, and in these boxes are art supplies. They're full of art supplies, and this is to work on a project where parents are creating alejandras and other forms of art. So the boxes are given to us, parents who sign up through a form, then come in and pick up these boxes for art classes. And so we continue to promote that. And the National Museum of Mexican Art is promoting that as well. So that's my update for PAC. Our next meeting is on January 13th.
Thank you.
Lo que estaba explicando el señor Stachowiak es ahorita explicó el tiempo de nuestra próxima junta. And again, what was the next time for the PAC meeting?
January 13th. Our PAC meetings are at 10 a.m. on 10 a.m. on January 13th. First Friday.
A las 10 de la mañana, enero 13. Y también está explicando cómo estamos trabajando con el Museo de Arte de México, que también ayuda a nuestros estudiantes con programas después de la escuela. Estamos haciendo un programa de arte para los padres que se quieren reunir con nosotros y también que quieran recoger. Enseñó un ejemplo de una caja con materiales de arte que pueden usar nuestros padres para participar como una comunidad de padres haciendo arte y soportándose y conociéndose como una comunidad aquí de Foreman.
The theme of the first art piece that parents are making is alebrijes. And so I think that's going to be pretty cool. And Alebrije, my favorite Mexican restaurant in Chicago.
Dice que el trabajo de arte es haciendo un alebrije, que es un animal mágico típicamente en el país de México, y también que ese es el favorito restaurant mexicano del señor Stojoviak. Thank you, Mr. Stojoviak. I
Thank you
see,
very much.
Ms. Tracy, would you be able to share with us a little bit of our back update?
Sure, I might need a little help at some point because my brain's not working. Buenas noches todos. Nosotros debemos tener una reunión en la semana pasada, pero no podía tenerlo porque yo estaba enferma. So we should have had a meeting last week for the back, but we couldn't because I was sick for the week. Entonces vamos a tener nuestra reunión tal vez 11 de enero, si no 18 de enero. Tengo que hablar con los officers. Y vamos a mandar la información cuando sabemos la fecha exactamente. Y nosotros vamos a tener una reunión para explicar todo el sistema de como créditos y GPA y cosas así por los padres de otros países, porque el sistema aquí es muy diferente. También en la próxima semana, por Navidad, nosotros vamos a mandar camisas por los padres quienes estaban en los primeros reunions este año. Entonces, por los padres de los estudiantes quienes estaban en la primer o segundo back reunion, tenemos una camisa. It's like, I'm a proud bilingual parent. Y vamos a mandarlos a las casas en la próxima semana. So we have t-shirts that we're going to send home to the parents who were at either of the first meetings that we had this year. And then the meeting that we had to postpone is going to explain to the parents like different parts of the school system here, GPA, earning credits, what you need to do to graduate, things like that. Any questions? I guess not. Well, thank you guys, and happy holidays.
You too.
Thank you.
Okay, so on to Mr. Garces with the FOIA. Thank you.
Y si los representantes de los estudiantes están, si tienen un reporte, pueden hablar ahorita. I did ask if the student representatives had a report early on earlier today. They did not, but I just want to know if maybe they have something that they would like to share. Si tienen algo que si quieren compartir, este es el momento para los estudiantes. Okay. And for our professional personal leadership committee, we are meeting during our upcoming Friday Flex Day for our teacher elections. We have to start there first. And I know that Ms. Tracy, Ms. Malhas, and Mr. Garces are helping convince, cheer on, twist arms for teachers to participate in our PPLC, but it will be taking place this Friday, and we appreciate your effort in getting that teacher team together. I have my presentation. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a second so I can locate my presentation, and then I can go through it. Okay, I wanted to go over, I went over the state of the school during our parent report card pickup. I had a couple of sessions, but they were rather small with a couple of families joining, and I thought I would hit some of the highlights of that presentation for all of us here at this local school council meeting today. And I think it's always important for us to know of the vision where our school is heading, and the mission, which is the work that's going to help us get there. And I just wanted to sort of give a quick recap of our vision and mission right now. So at Foreman College and Career Academy, we aim to build educational equity and inspire a passion for learning by fostering curiosity, promoting academic achievement, supporting social emotional health, and providing students working to meet their individual and collective potential, develop their powerful voices, and advocate for themselves and others in a changing world. And our mission is, in recognition of the diversity of our students, we aim to accomplish equitable learning experiences through teaching practices that highlight the strengths of our student body as a community and as individuals. To facilitate this, we have developed a cross-curricular standards-based, SEL-centered, culturally relevant curriculum that engages students in project-based learning, which celebrates the abilities of our diverse population. So, in looking at a couple years ago, something that it's important to understand is that the district has been changing and redesigning their way of holding schools accountable. So it doesn't happen overnight. It's been a 2-year engagement of all stakeholders at the school level, from parents, educators, to students, to come up with a new way of evaluating and holding schools accountable. These are just some bullet points to highlight the last couple of years. So a little bit about the CPS accountability redesign back in 2022. Well, we are in the fall of 2022. There are third years with no ratings, meaning accountability statuses are carrying over. So because of the pandemic, there has been no school evaluation procedures that the district has been doing. And so what they did is they carried over those ratings from before the pandemic. But in fall of 2023, the accountability status, which the state law requires CPS to publish, are determined using the state's rating system per a July board resolution. So now I'm going to give a little more layman's terms to that. Remember, this has been a process that they've been talking about for the last 2 years. And since I'm going to make this presentation available, the font in blue will give you additional information of what the board resolution was for this new rating system that they're moving toward in the next 2 years. Also, in the fall of 2024, will be the first release of information, likely in a form of an updated school dashboard under the new approach to accountability. So again, in the fall of 2024, there's going to be a internet-based dashboard that families and all stakeholders will have access to follow along with this new accountability process that the state and district will be providing. So the impacts of the pandemic have been real. We see the headlines, we've seen the headlines, and we continue to see the headlines of the impacts of the pandemic. For us, it becomes more about the headlines that impact schools and student achievement. And here you see some, for example, like the lowest scores on for ACT in over 30 years, and how national test scores have dipped tremendously. And there's several reasons, not only necessarily the pandemic, but certainly impacted by the pandemic have been some of these national and standardized test scores. And this is one of the reasons why I'm looking for support to our school wherever I can get it to make an impact on our SAT scores, as we were previously hearing from Ms. Galau, working with our post-secondary coach, Ms. Aquarito, to aim towards more scholarship dollars for our students, because if we have the end in mind, then we can start doing the work within the school and our day-to-day work to support students. But we need to think about that end in mind. So higher SAT scores, more scholarship dollars, and then in the day-to-day work, we continue to support our students. And that's not on this slide, Mr. Garces, but I just wanted to give more of an explanation of some of that work. Yeah, just sí, considerando nuestras metas sobre las becas que queremos que nuestros estudiantes agarren para su futuro y el colegio, y también pensando en cómo poder ayudarlos en entrar en los colegios que ellos quieran entrar, sobre las notas que les dan en estos exámenes importantes del Estado como el SAT. Por eso siempre que yo tengo que estar enfocado en eso también, para también hacer el plan para el día tras día, en cumplir esas metas más grandes. Y este es un poco de los detalles que tenemos de este año, que ya se está terminando. And so looking back, these are some of the highlights as well, and some of the work that we have begun planning for and are still doing as we look back at school year 2022. So something that we've always been doing and that we're still working on is our continued support of our MTSS team here at the school in having a close eye on our continuous improvement cycles. So these are our teams that are looking at pass rates, they're looking at test performance, and they're helping our grade levels make adjustments to curriculum to continue to improve the day-to-day delivery of instruction. Our ILT, looking back at their learning walk data. This is teachers observing teachers so that we can support each other as a school community. We are, I think, currently in round 3 of our teachers observing other teachers so that we can gather data. And as an instructional leadership team, we can continue to make a positive impact to our profession in supporting our colleagues. An increase in attendance rates. We experienced a small increase, even though we still aim high. I will take every little increase we can. We've experienced an increase in attendance rates going into school year 2022, with moving from a 72 to a 74%. And then our increased work around participatory budgeting, empowering our students so that they continue to believe in themselves, continue to believe in their actions, by providing them funding to impact their school and hopefully in the long term, their school community. Mr. Garces, are you? Sure. Mr. Garces and I were trying to plan how to best go through our English to Spanish translation, so that we can make the meeting go a little more quicker. I get a little more tongue-tied with my Spanish. He doesn't, but it's okay. I'm going to always do my best to translate my own slides. It's okay. Estos son los puntos de nuestro trabajo a través de este año escolar. Ya estamos terminando este año escolar, pero siempre sigue el trabajo que estamos haciendo aquí en la escuela, sobre nuestros equipos, el equipo de MTSS, que es hecho de maestros, que ayudan en poniendo atención a los datos y cambiando los planes para hacer un impacto en el aprendizaje en las clases con los estudiantes. Siempre estamos corrigiendo nuestros procesos con ese equipo de MTSS que soporta no solamente a los estudiantes, pero cómo están los maestros planeando su instrucción. Nuestro otro equipo de maestros, que es los líderes de instrucción aquí, el ILT, ellos siguen en su tercer proceso de observarse como maestros, como profesionales, para ayudarse y darse el apoyo que ellos necesitan en mejorar su profesión y mejorar su instrucción en las clases. También seguimos nuestros procesos con asistencia y hemos mejorado del último año hasta este año. 2% movimos de un 72 a 74% del porcentaje de asistencia, pero progreso es progreso. Y si nosotros queremos más, un promedio más alto de 74%, pero seguimos el trabajo. También seguimos el trabajo en el apoyo que le damos a nuestros estudiantes para que ellos sientan el poder, que ellos tienen una voz aquí y sus acciones pueden mover montañas, con dándoles dinero en proyectos que pueden ellos planear y recibir nuestra ayuda en hacer un impacto en su escuela y ojalá en el futuro en la comunidad. So some school year 22 performance data. So we've had 75% of our students in school year 21 and 22 accepted into their match or reach schools, which has been an increase of 13%. At the end of last year, we've doubled the amount of scholarship dollars to $2.1 million in comparison to the previous school year. We've also want to highlight that 92% of our students had been accepted, 92% of our seniors last year had been accepted to one or more colleges or universities. And 87% of our seniors also completed more than 3 college applications at the end of last year. And 83% of our seniors completed their financial aid process, which also includes non-traditional forms of financial aid. So this is why it's important to continue to focus on and have the end in mind. Esto es lo importante, ¿por qué enfocarnos en cómo queremos terminar la secundaria y dar la información y pedir ayuda cuando necesitemos ayuda para soportar a nuestros estudiantes? This is one of the reasons why, again, we want to keep the end in mind and support our students whenever we can. This is our PSAT for our freshmen coming in at the from school year 19 to school year 22. So here you see that we have we have in school year 19, we had 16% of our students meeting benchmarks. And then in school year 21, 22, because we got to remember the pandemic made us skip some of this testing, we now decreased, and we had 7% of our freshmen meeting benchmarks with these standardized tests. So, en este examen de la preparación del SAT, para los estudiantes del primer nivel, como se pasó un año durante la pandemia, bajamos en nuestros datos del examen. De un 16% de estudiantes viendo las habilidades del colegio y luego al año 21-22 solamente 7% de los estudiantes llegando al promedio de enseñando las habilidades que están enseñando que pueden tener éxito en los colegios. Por eso tenemos que seguir apoyando a nuestros estudiantes y en la práctica que ellos están recibiendo sobre este examen. So here's 11th grade. You see, again, although we had a slight increase last year, our eye must remain on the prize. We do not have too many of our students meeting benchmarks, and that is in on the left-hand side, you see the overall meeting of benchmarks, and on the right-hand side, you see the breakdown within ELA and math. Aunque vemos aquí que nuestras habilidades de nuestros estudiantes del tercer año sí han mejorado un poco, todavía necesitamos enfocarnos en apoyándolos para que sigan sigan mejorando en este examen de inglés y de matemáticas por el examen del estado SAT. So, hemos mejorado un poco en este nivel en el año 3, pero queremos seguir mejorando para este año que viene. So again, we talked a little bit about how we aim to get some continued practice around the SAT, which our visitor also shared. So we're trying to create a well-rounded approach where students are receiving their day-to-day instruction, their practice in core areas around SAT through Khan Academy, and then after-school programming and Saturday school programming. So, ya explicamos un poco antes de cómo vamos a apoyar a nuestros estudiantes en la práctica y en el aprendizaje que tienen que ir cada año para seguir mejorando para este examen. Apoyándolos en sus clases, pero también después de la escuela y posiblemente en programas que podamos ofrecer en los sábados. So looking ahead, this school year, we remain focused on our CIWP and ending our CIWP this school year with the continuation of our goals around differentiated instruction, strengthening our continuous improvement structures for MTSS, more student voice and engagement in civic life, with a focus of 90% freshmen on track, an 85% attendance rate, 67 and 62% 5-year graduation rate for our males and African American males respectively, 18% and 21% readiness for meeting benchmarks on the SAT, specifically across the board, but more specifically for our Latinas and African American males respectively. These are our priority groups that we feel have a greater need to see an increase. And then lastly, creating a new CIWP at the end of this school year that will help guide our way for the next upcoming 3 school years. So, estas son nuestras metas sobre mejorándonos no solamente para este año escolar, sobre estos datos de seguir con las metas de diferenciación en nuestra instrucción en las clases, apoyando a nuestros equipos de maestros, mejorando cómo hacen sus planes en soportar estudiantes, dándole más voz a los estudiantes y que se sientan aquí, que tienen una oportunidad de hacer una diferencia en su escuela, seguir mejorando nuestras metas sobre el primer año de los estudiantes aquí de Foreman, con su éxito de un promedio de 90% o más alto. Asistencia, mejorando nuestra asistencia de un 74 a 85%. Mejorando con nuestros hombres y sus graduaciones aquí de 5 años, cumpliendo con 67 y 62, un promedio de 77 y 62 para nuestros muchachos y nuestros estudiantes que son afroamericanos, mejorando sus porcentajes también. También mejorando los datos de nuestro examen del SAT con nuestras latinas y nuestros muchachos afroamericanos también de un porcentaje de 18 a 21%. Y luego al fin del año, cumpliendo con un nuevo plan escolar para los próximos 3 años. Here are just some other goals that we want to emphasize and share with our families and people on our local school meeting, is we want to also see an increase in early college credit participation. So one of the opportunities that the district has is they are now offering opportunities for early college credit through virtual means. And we have several early college credit offerings here that we want to continue to share with our families. We have the only jazz early college credit program in the entire city. We have early college credit offerings around Spanish. We have the advanced placement in science classes like physics. And we want more and more exposure to these classes. But if parents don't know about them, they're not going to take advantage of them or encourage their children to consider them. So we want people take advantage of early college offerings. So the second semester, we are offering preparation courses so that students can take placement exams for city colleges so that they can qualify themselves for early college credit their junior and senior year, or maybe even sophomore, junior, and senior year. More students maintaining an attendance rate of 90%. We need to make sure that families are educated around why attendance is important. The research already exists. I remember doing this with several of my schools, showing how students that had the highest SAT test scores all had over 90% attendance rates. Students with the highest GPAs all had attendance rates over 90%. Students that were receiving the highest scholarship dollars were all students that attended school over 90%. It's a magical number to hit, but we feel that it's truly capable because if you're absent 18 times, you're going to hit that 90% attendance rate at the end of the school year. And of course, the 3.0 GPA or higher, this idea of having a B or better average opens the door to all city colleges through the STAR scholarship. And so a lot of families, again, are just simply unaware of that if they graduate with a 3.0 or better, they qualify to attend city colleges for free. We want more participation in our student voice. Every time a new graduating class crosses the stage, they seem to vacate a lot of our seats in our student voice committee. And so we want to continue to plant a seed and get more students participating in after-school clubs, specifically in our student voice. So queremos más participación de los estudiantes en clases que nosotros ofrecemos que dan crédito para el colegio. Y también en participando en estas clases, también se tienen que preparar, es que típicamente estas clases se ofrecen en los últimos 2 años. Y si ahorita se están preparando, nosotros queremos ofrecer clases para que se preparen en pasando estos exámenes que tienen los colegios de la ciudad de Chicago. Es que si tienen éxito en estos exámenes, pueden tomar ventaja de estos programas, estas clases aquí dentro Foreman o también en programas virtuales que ofrece el distrito. queremos poner una importancia sobre la asistencia, es que ya han enseñado que estudiantes con un porcentaje de 90% o alto, que son 18 faltas, y 18 faltas en mi libro son muchas faltas, pero si tienen 18 faltas, pueden llegar al porcentaje de 90%. Y lo que yo quiero dar a entender es que los estudiantes que tienen éxito en el SAT, los estudiantes que tienen más dinero ofrecido por becas y los estudiantes que tienen la oportunidad de escoger su colegio son estudiantes que tienen un porcentaje de 90% o más alto. Un punto importante también es un promedio de las notas. Teniendo un porcentaje, un promedio de 3.0, que es un promedio de la nota de una B o mejor, abren puertas a los colegios de la ciudad de Chicago. Es completamente gratis si tienen ese promedio, pero tienen que tener ese promedio ya en su último año para cuando se gradúen. Y nosotros también queremos más participación de nuestros estudiantes en los comités de estudiantes y también en los clubes después de la escuela. So the CPS and school budgets support the whole school, the whole child and enhance school offering. There are plenty of funding. There was and there is plenty of funding that CPS has offered us through, for example, additional sports funding that we've opened up positions for mentorship programs. And youth, I've worked with the safety center downtown to provide us additional funding for our security, which freed up money where I can then hire a youth intervention specialist to continue to help with restorative practices and help students and families understand the student code of conduct. We also have the district offering us an instructional coach position where we placed Mr. Garces into that position, and he continues to support our instructional leadership team and also offering instructional coaching moments throughout the school year. And we also had an increase of in-school, after-school participation through what they call OST funding, out-of-school time funding, for our students to take advantage of. We're taking advantage of all this funding that the district has available for us to maximize, again, student achievement. We're offering programs like weightlifting club, after school, health club through Mr. Quicio, who's fundraising with these hats to bring more awareness around healthier lifestyles. We are partnering up with CASA and the Mexican Fine Arts Museum to bring additional programs here for families. Everything that is made available to us, we are taking advantage of. There's another program that wasn't listed here because I just received it. We're offering 2 transitional classes here that help place students immediately into college level courses that earn them credit their freshman year. Otherwise, they would be placed in remedial classes. And so they asked if we would be so willing to teach transitional English and transitional math here to our seniors so that they don't waste their time when they get to city colleges and take remediated classes. And so we are offering that, and we're not only offering it, our teachers are having great success, that they qualified us for a $5,000 grant for additional tutoring and an impact on our curriculum. And we just qualified ourselves for that. So ahorita estamos tomando a ventaja de diferentes oportunidades y de diferentes fondos que nos ofrecen el distrito. Sí es tomando a ventaja de programas que nos van a traer mentores aquí para ayudar a nuestros deportistas, para pagar para seguridad, que nos abren oportunidades en nuestros fondos como una escuela donde yo pude conseguir a alguien que nos puede hacer un impacto en la consejería de la disciplina y también en ayudando a nuestros maestros a aprender más de cómo poner atención a datos de instrucción y crecer como profesionales. y últimamente en creciendo nuestros programas después de la escuela. Estamos tomando mucha ventaja de los fondos que nos están ofreciendo el distrito y sigo buscando formas de tomar a ventaja de cómo traer más dinero a la escuela. Y nada más quise compartir esto en parte de nuestras metas hoy. Gracias. Thank you. Any questions? I'm here to listen.
And so we still have not gotten any public participation requests. So unless anybody else has anything they would like to add, feel free to make a motion to adjourn. We have a second.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, January 17th at 5 o'clock. Okay, I heard some ayes. Do we have any nays? Fantastic. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.